10 bizarre items that hitched a ride into space. Humanity's journey into space is filled with profound milestones, from landing on the moon to peering into the depths of the universe with powerful telescopes. Some are downright quirky, whimsical, or even bizarre. 10 Salmonella bacteria. Salmonella bacteria, known for causing food poisoning, were sent to the International Space Station, ISS, on space shuttle missions in 2006 and 2008, leading to a surprising discovery. One of the key findings by Cheryl Nickerson from the Biodesign Institute at Arizona State University is that by altering the levels of ions in the environment of the bacteria, it's possible to prevent the increase in virulence observed in space. A sound recording of human brainwaves. The Voyager Golden Record, a reminder that we are all connected. In the summer of 1977, NASA launched the Voyager interstellar mission, which involved sending 2 spacecraft into the cosmos. Each of these spacecraft carried a golden record, serving as a time capsule designed to last 1 billion years. The purpose of these records was to serve as a message to any alien civilization that might come across them. The project was led by the renowned astronomer and science communicator Carl Sagan, with creative direction from Ann Druyan. The golden records have now traveled far beyond our solar system, moving at a speed of 35,000 miles per hour into interstellar space. 8 Lego figures. These Lego minifigures are worth $2 billion. I am not joking. 3 special Lego figurines were sent on a journey to Jupiter aboard NASA's Juno spacecraft in 2011. These unique Lego minifigures represent the Roman god Jupiter, his wife Juno, and the renowned father of science, Galileo Galilei. This initiative was part of the Bricks in Space project, a collaborative effort between NASA and the LEGO Group, aimed to inspire children to delve into science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The Juno spacecraft, along with the minifigures, was scheduled to reach Jupiter in July 2016, where it would orbit the planet for a year before intentionally descending into its gaseous atmosphere. The Juno spacecraft aimed to do something similar by looking beneath Jupiter's clouds to understand its structure and history. This plaque showcased a self-portrait of Galileo and included a passage he had written in 1610 about his observations of Jupiter. 7 sea urchin sperm. Scientists sent sea urchin eggs into space on rockets in the 1990s to see if they could still start life in zero gravity, just like they do on Earth. They found out that these eggs could indeed get fertilized and start developing into baby sea urchins even when they were floating in space. But there was something curious. If the eggs spent time in space without getting fertilized, they couldn't start the process once they were back on Earth. It turns out that the tiny cells could indeed feel the lack of gravity, but they kept on growing correctly anyway. This made the scientists think that these cells might have a special way to sense gravity that's linked to their own growth cycle. The big takeaway is that the very start of life, at least for sea urchins, doesn't seem to be bothered by the lack of gravity. However, scientists are still scratching their heads about what would happen if there was no gravity at all for a long time. A piece of the Wright brothers' airplane. In July 1969, Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon, carried with him pieces of the Wright Flyer as a tribute to aviation pioneers Orville and Wilbur Wright. These items included fabric and propeller pieces from the aircraft that achieved the first powered flight in 1903. Armstrong, an Ohioan like the Wright brothers, had always admired them and studied their work extensively. The media at the time drew comparisons between the moon landing and the Wright brothers' flight, noting the contrast in the nature of courage required. However, some saw a similarity in the transformative impact of both events on humanity's relationship with the environment and the cosmos. 5. Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. In October 2007, the Space Shuttle Discovery's STS-120 mission carried a unique piece of cargo alongside its crew and a new module for the International Space Station, the original lightsaber prop used by Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker in the 1977 film Star Wars. This event was part of the 30th anniversary celebration of the iconic movie franchise. Before its journey to space, the lightsaber was sent off in a special ceremony at Oakland International Airport in California, where it was handed over to NASA officials by Chewbacca. The lightsaber's send-off and subsequent space journey were a symbolic nod to the cultural impact of the Star Wars saga, blending science fiction with real-world space exploration. For a Tesla Roadster. In February 2018, SpaceX achieved a significant milestone by launching a Tesla Roadster into space on the maiden flight of their Falcon Heavy rocket. This event was more than just a display of the rocket's capabilities. It was a symbolic act meant to inspire humanity, as expressed by Elon Musk, the CEO of both SpaceX and Tesla. The Tesla Roadster, with its mannequin driver dubbed Starman, has been traveling on an elliptical orbit around the Sun, which it completes every 557 days. The Roadster has already made its first close approach to Mars, coming within 5 million miles, 8 million kilometers of the Red Planet. The car is on a trajectory that will also bring it close to Earth, passing within 32 million miles, 51.5 million kilometers. Eventually, the Tesla is expected to either burn up in the atmosphere of Earth or Venus, but this fiery end is not anticipated to occur for at least another 10 million years. The Wheel of Cheese. In 2010, SpaceX, the private spaceflight company, made a quirky leap into history by launching a large wheel of Le Gruyere cheese into orbit as a secret payload during the first flight of its Dragon space capsule. This whimsical act was a nod to a classic skit from the British comedy show Monty Python's Flying Circus, specifically a scene where John Cleese attempts to order cheese from a shop that has none. The cheese was encased in a metal cylinder, adorned with an image reminiscent of the top secret. The ashes of Star Trek's creator. In 2024, Celestis, a company that offers space burials, will launch a pioneering deep space mission carrying nearly 200 capsules of cremated remains and DNA samples, including those of Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry, his wife Majel Barrett Roddenberry, and their son Eugene Rod Roddenberry's DNA. On a corned beef sandwich. Remembering the astronaut who snuck a sandwich to space? NASA astronaut John Young, remembered for his significant contributions to the U.S. space program, also left behind a quirky legacy involving a corned beef sandwich. On March 23, 1965, during the Gemini 3 mission, Young smuggled the sandwich into space by hiding it in his pocket. This mission was notable for being the first U.S. spaceflight to carry two astronauts, Young and Gus Grissom, and occurred amid a tense period in the space race, just after the Soviets had launched a two-person mission of their own. The presence of the sandwich was revealed during a brief exchange between Young and Grissom, captured in the mission's transcript. Grissom decided to stow the sandwich away after noticing it was crumbling, which could have posed a risk to the spacecraft's operations. NASA officials, including Administrator James Webb, were called to testify, and measures were taken to prevent such an occurrence in the future. Today, astronauts are still making sandwiches in space, but they use tortilla bread to minimize crumbs. The corned beef sandwich episode is memorialized with a replica on display at the Grissom Memorial Museum in Indiana, serving as a lighthearted footnote in the history of space exploration.